there's contact. There's contact. And there's contact between Cheryl Paul and Campbell Pilling.
Good morning and welcome here to round 4 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series at Hooton Park. It's me, Ben McPhillips, joining you, and we are looking forward to what should be a great meeting here. We've got 3 races and 4 events overall across the 3 different classes. First up is the qualifying for the DRS62s, who have already formed up here on the dummy grid. Just seeing the results for the DRS100 warm-ups, and already quite notable actually that there's a 4.5 tenths difference between 168 Connor Scarisbrick and 130 Liam Karabalov. We'll touch on that a little bit more later on. That just in the evens, of course, they're split into the odds and evens. For the warm-ups, they will form together for the remainder of the day. Only split back at Shennington. But for now, the focus on the DRS62s, and we'll keep a close eye, of course, on the battle at the very top of the championship. You can see on the screen right now the track layout here at Hooton Park. There's a couple of good long straights here. Actually, the third one too, just coming out of turn 3. The major characteristic here is, as well as those straights, good few double apex corners. Turn 3 is one where you really just look at the one apex and then you kind of have it shallow out, if you will, at the exit. And the carts will try and straighten themselves out, the drivers looking to take the path of least resistance around there. Then turn 4 could be classed as 2 corners, but it's effectively one long sweep with 2 apexes just towards this near side of the track, just to the inside of turns 1 and 2, the infield, as you might well want to refer to it as. And then the quick S-bend going into the double apex final corner. Important to get yourself a good run out of there coming on to the start-finish straight. This weekend, of course, marks the weekend, the end of the week in which the man himself, Daniel Ricciardo, has gotten back into Formula One with AlphaTauri, of course, and I wonder if some of these DRS62 drivers will have been taking some inspiration from that in their bid to try and emulate their hero and discover some success. Time now for DRS125s to head out onto the Hooton Park Circuit. They get fired up. Right out they go. The volume cranks up. And some of the drivers already taking a lot of curb out there at the first corner. And if the 62 qualifying was anything to go by, what we're really hoping to see here is more of the same. See those lap times tumbling down and keep the drama going until the very end. Flying laps just beginning now. Looks like Rowan Campbell-Pilling is leading the field. Those of you following our live timing, I'm not sure if this will come up on the graphics either, but Peter Hugler, who is showing as a novice with the N marking him out, we understand that as of this morning, no longer part of that novice group. Have to keep an eye out on the plate there for 326 to see how that changes as we see the initial lap times, and it's Campbell-Pilling on provisional pole with the 35 points, practically a 35.7. just a couple of thousandths under that marker. And it's Tom Snake second. A good 3 tenths behind as Campbell Pilling taking plenty of curb over there on that left hand, the second part of the S-bend there, and over the line they come. And doesn't look like we've got any... well, actually, we've got up to third there going is Walmsley-Jones. Oscar Walmsley-Jones over the line. We actually just have a nice touch here for any of you watching the time. Something you just noticed. You see there's a line going across the drivers' names that indicates how far along they are around the lap, it would appear. Yeah, correct, because Campbell Pilling crosses the line now, and you see it for yourself on the stream as he is all over the back there of number 8, Tommy Welsh. Welsh at the moment 14th quickest, as Ferris Bill Basie goes up to second. And big competition already, just a couple of tenths as Henry Foote goes up to 6th there. So just over 2 tenths separating the top 6, just less than a second between the top 15 as Sam Faulkner late to enter the action. Looks like he's just coming through on his first flying lap now, when the expectation would be is that it's going to be he and Campbell Pilling that are going to be battling it out for top honours. As there goes Campbell Pilling now through the double apex turn 4 and sliding it through the S-bend, once again taking a lot of curb, not quite clattering it as he did earlier on. As there we go, Faulkner to the top of the timesheets, 35.306. There's just under a tenth and a half quicker, so the benchmark very much being set there. But as we mentioned earlier, just 4 minutes to go in the session, and the hope will be that we can see those lap times continuing to tumble on what may still be somewhat of a green track. We might not see it in the same way as we did with the 62s a few moments ago, but let's see what they could do. Could they maybe dip under the 35s? It's going to be a big ass as Faulkner there just goes 7 thousandths of a second quicker. And it's Henry Foote now up to third, and the gap beginning to increase. It's now 3 tenths back to 5th place Oscar Walmsley-Jones. And Faulkner just going through there. We didn't see the improvement on the lap time there, as it looks like they are maybe just struggling to find the same lap time increase. So that would indicate that the track is now indeed bedded in, although Oscar Owen there moving up to third, just under a quarter of a second off the top of the times. Owen was down in 8th and would have been quite disappointed with that position, so good to get that big lap in, as we've got a kart slowing down there. And is that a problem or just trying to create some space? It's the 336 there, or is that the 326? I don't believe there is a 336 out there. It's showing up. It's Henry Foote up there in 4th, so clearly just looking for space. So you set a quick time, although the right hand is up, so no, that would actually indicate that Foote is coming in. So clearly an indicator there of a problem. A couple of others pulling in too, so maybe some drivers happy with the times they've set, as there's one driver there just having the back end completely come out on the entrance to turn 1. Very, very aggressive turn in from some of these drivers. Doesn't look like we've had any improvement at the top so far, as there's a bit of battling out there on the circuit. And 3-3-2 there. Freddie Cox just making a pass on our screens as there was a problem and that's Oliver Owen stopped out on track and out of the kart. That just coming there at the exit of turn 3. We didn't see what happened initially, if there was a spin or just coming to a halt. Doesn't look like we're getting any improvements coming towards the end of the session. No fast lap times being set. Faulkner with the last at a 35.6, but nobody coming really kind of close to any sort of improvement. There's another driver coming in there. That's so during the driver's briefing, this is something for those of you watching to look out for. Driver's clearly told to raise the right hand or the right arm when coming in. Saw a driver there a moment ago. We couldn't quite see the plate from that camera angle, but raising the left arm, and I'm sure maybe there will be just a slight word on that. You'd like to think it's one of those things that the drivers will see clearly. An arm raise, usually universal indicator, and not. You'd hope that even if it's the wrong arm, they would see and be aware that there is an issue affecting the driver in front of them. As the session comes to a close in something of an anticlimactic manner in the end, after the 62s just really ramped up the pace towards the end of the session. That, as we mentioned a few moments ago, clearly an indicator of the track bedding in more and more after the overnight rains that we've had here at Hooton Park. So that will conclude things for the DRS125 qualifying session. It's Sam Faulkner, top of the timesheets, the 35.292, just the slightest improvement on the initial benchmark there. It couldn't have been more than a hundredth of a second, and that meaning that he is on pole ahead of Rowan Campbell-Pilling in the DRS kart. The gap just over a tenth and a half there. Then it's Ollie Owen up to third with that lap in the middle of the session, the 35.5, before stopping out on the circuit. Henry Foote in fourth, Firas Bilbasi in fifth. And we will have the DRS125 back out on track just after midday for the heat for them. So next up is the DRS100 qualifying, and that will be in around about just under 10 minutes from now. So we will join you for the DRS100s, the biggest field that we'll see here in the Daniel Ricciardo Series at Hooton Park in just a few moments. Action coming thick and fast here at Hooton Park. Round 4 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series. That was a fantastic opening heat there for the DRS 62s, and time for the 125s to, we hope, provide us even more entertainment. That's certainly going to be the hope for us, given the bigger field that we have for this category. Of course, the seniors out on track, and our pole position man is, of course, Sam Faulkner, laying down the gauntlet after being a little slow to emerge from the pits initially. And here they come at a pace, and we'll see. It was interesting, we noted during that 62 race just how they seemed to be well aligned, and they were told during the driver's briefing to keep a consistent pace, and it seemed pretty consistent and pretty steady, but apparently a bit too hot for race control's liking. We have actually just spoken to the race director, nothing being looked into, despite some of the contact we saw in that DRS62 race, so that good to see racing incidents being called as racing incidents. And here we are already well formed up for the start, just being told to slow it down a little. We were talking about Faulkner a moment ago in qualifying, laying down the gauntlet and doing so with a lap record, that 35.292. And now it's his responsibility to lead the field down to the start. It's Campbell Pilling alongside. Here we go. Campbell Pilling made the move to the inside, but it's Faulkner who will hold the lead into the opening couple of corners. There's looked like the fourth place driver there, just a little bit wide, but getting a pretty good exit in the end, going down to turn 3 as they begin to get single file. Leading is Faulkner, Campbell Pilling. And getting a big swapper on there. I believe actually Campbell Pilling may have... Did he drop down there? Yes, he did actually. He's dropped back down to 4th as a matter of fact. So it's Oliver Owen now in 2nd. And a bit of a problem on the exit there. Looked like that was number 4 there potentially, Bill Basie, who is not actually showing up on our timing screens, but is well up there in the mid-pack. Just being informed the transponder there not working, and so that may well create 1 or 2 problems going forward for him, as down the front stretch they come once again. Looks like Campbell Pilling has gotten past Henry Foot and back up to 3rd. Oliver Owen a 10th behind Sam Faulkner. It's a big lead for those top 2. Through turn 4 they come, that double apex. Owen looking to set up a move. Looks like Faulkner just pulling out a little bit there in 283. Owen, of course, the defending champion in the 125s. Faulkner just beginning to edge away. And now Campbell Pilling pulling away from Henry Foot, and he'll be hoping to try and close in, reducing the gap to about 0.7 of a second there. It was around a second on the previous lap. Faulkner just keeping Owen at bay for the moment. Was pulling away to begin with. It looks like Owen might have just kept him honest. Actually took out a couple of hundredths on that lap. And actually Campbell Pilling, it seems there, falling back to a second away yet again in that DRS kart. Battle for 4th shaping up now. It's Foot leading that, and then it's Weir, Cox and Snake in pursuit. I believe actually, so among that pack is Bill Basie actually, who's having that problem with the transponder. So it's on in physical reality, it's a 4-way battle for 4th, but whether or not it remains that way is yet to be seen. Whether or not there'll be any action taken potentially as regards that transponder not working. Faulkner pulling away now to a lead of 0.4 of a second almost, and Campbell Pilling dropping back to best part of 1.2 seconds behind. Looks like Freddie Cox in 332, eager to make a move at the moment. Right in behind there, Bill Basie in 4. That's allowing Weir to just pull away slightly, and Foot, if anything, is maybe just edging back in towards Rowan Campbell Pilling. Wide there from Bill Basin, clouting the curb, but getting through there is Freddie Cox, and up he goes into what has always been 6th place on your graphics, what you can see on the graphics on the screens, as Bill Basie there running wide in the final corner, and Bill Basie able to take advantage despite clouting the curb on the inside of that second apex of the final corner. As Faulkner now has extended the lead to 0.7 of a second. And now a second completely, and just 4/100ths of a second off his best lap time there was Faulkner. The fastest lap so far is a 35.651. We see them beginning to come through turn 4. Looks like the top 3 now well spread out, and the battle potentially for third is Foot now closing in to within 0.3 of a second of Campbell Pilling. Good battle further down the... Oh, and a problem is dropping down several positions. The 330 there at Tuscany Groves. There's been a contact warning for 326 Peter Hugler. I'd like to get a glimpse of that 326 actually, just to see the plate, to see if it is a black novice plate there. Oh, and off out of the exit of turn 4. Couldn't quite see who that was getting out of the kart. Number 4 there, that is Bill Basie, who of course we can't see on the timing screens, and well, any kind of question about the circumstances for Bill Basie there answered by his stopping out on track from what was, I believe, 7th place. And now the battle on for third, as Foot has now closed that gap to Campbell Pilling. It's 0.2 now. They go through turns 1 and 2. Move could potentially be on into 3. Not quite close enough this time around. And Freddie Cox closing in there on Daniel Weir for 5th. The lead for Fulton now 2 seconds. He is away and clear with 2 minutes to go. Got it virtually in the bag. Campbell Pilling still was holding the gap at a second to Oscar Rowan, but now just dropping a couple of attempts on that lap, but it's good enough to pull away just slightly, just edge away there from Foot, as there's a move for 5th potentially, but Freddie Cox looked to be all out of shape on the entrance. Did pull alongside there, but keeping the position there was Weir, the fight for 5th place. And making the move and contact there was Freddie Cox. Cox looking back, not happy with it there. It was difficult to tell who was at fault. Such was the sudden manner in which the contact happened. We'll see it here. It looks like, oh, so okay, this was Weir getting out of shape, and Cox noticing that and trying to take advantage. And yeah, you halfway suspect there Weir may be trying to close the door when the horse had already bolted on that one, you suspect. Be interested to see if there's any note from race control on that one, as Rowan Campbell Pilling still just pulling away slightly from Henry Foot now. It's up to 0.4 of a second in that battle for 3rd place, and things just beginning to calm down. Closest battle that we can see out on the circuit. Oscar Walmsley-Jones looking to make a move on Peter Hugler there for 10th place. A 10.5 of a second between those two. Same goes for Woodrow and Watt there. The 3-8 and the 6 in the battle for 12th. And that's a group of 4 karts there. I believe 5 karts actually. It's a pack being led by Tommy Welch in 9th place. Lead now up to 2.4 seconds of Hooton as we're on now the penultimate lap. Foot just edging a little bit closer to Campbell Pilling, 3 3/4. Oh, and off there for, just looking to see, 3.28 that was. So that was Jake Woodrow going off there in turn 1, going off at the exit. And on to the last lap now for Faulkner. And it does look as if actually Foot has closed in. It's now 2 tenths in the fight for third. Looks like Campbell Pilling has kept enough of a gap through 3. Getting a good exit off of 4. Through they go, turn 4. Looks like Foot taking the wider line through that corner. Looks like Freddie Cox might be under pressure in the fight for 5th. I'm sure we're going to come around in a moment to see Sam Faulkner take the checkered flag. Well, there he goes, he's taken it. We've just seen him come past and through in second, Oscar Owen. And Foot got past Campbell Pilling for 3rd. Something's happened there to Rowan Campbell Pilling because the gap at the line, half a second. Freddie Cox coming through in 5th. It was Weir in 6th, almost taking that position back, just under a tenth, well, just over, sorry, a tenth of a second between the two. Tom Snape in 7th. I'd love to see exactly what happened there. It would have been towards the very end of the lap because Foot was trying to take that wide line through the second apex of turn 4 to try and get a run going into the S's. But you'd have to imagine there must have been some sort of mistake there from Rowan Campbell Pilling that cost him the 3rd place. But the runaway winner in the end didn't have it all his own way necessarily in qualifying. Just a tenth and a half there between Faulkner and Campbell Pilling. But in the end, the win taken by Faulkner by 2.6 seconds with Henry Foot 4 seconds back, 4.4 seconds almost. And then Campbell Pilling dropping back on that final lap to finish 4th. Freddie Cox with that great overtake going into the final quarter with just about 3 minutes or so left in the race. He claimed the final position in the top 5. And then it was Weir, Snape, Critchley, Welsh, Hugler who got that warning for contact rounding out the top 10. And then Oscar Walmsley-Jones, Thomas Dackins, Tuscany Groves, Kurt Fordry, Mark Lawrence, Jake Woodrow, Xander Huffman and Cole Watt. Welcome to the grid for the DRS125s ahead of their pre-final. We're going to see if we can have a word actually with our pole sitter and heat winner Sam Faulkner before he heads away from the grid. Sam, you took a while to get out there in qualifying, but then you really laid down the gauntlet. Was there any kind of worry there initially?
No, quite often wait until there's a bit of a gap. People do their laps and then come in, so there's more space at the end of the session really, we find. And the track usually gets better and better, so, and the tyres only last for 2-3 laps, so you only have a short window to get it done.
Was there any worry with the track being a little bit green when you got here this morning?
Not particularly. There was only one wet patch in warm-up and that dried quite quickly, so yeah, the track's been dry all day pretty much.
Cheers, Sam. All right, we're going to head down the grid now. We're going to go to Rowan Campbell Pilling. Rowan, you were right up there at the start of that race, but just fell back a little bit. Is the starting on the outside a real problem?
I mean, starting on the outside is always a disadvantage, especially here with a fast turn 1. So you've just got to try and maximise what you can get out of it, really, and do the best that you can do. Try and slot in if you can. If not, you've got to just wing it around the outside, and sometimes it doesn't work.
You're a bit more relieved to be on the right side this time around?
Yeah, definitely.
Think you can win this one?
I'll give it my best. That's all I can ever do.
Good luck. Gonna head further down the grid, just looking to see who we really want to talk to. Let's actually go down to Peter Hugler, who is 326. You, Peter, you got rid of the black plate, the novice plate, just this weekend. So you're looking ahead now at these guys, aren't you?
Yeah, It's nice to not have the black plates anymore, definitely, which is good, yeah, definitely.
Well, you're heading out in 45 seconds. What are you hoping for from this one?
Just keep going forward. Every race, if you're going forward, you're doing something right. So that's good, yeah.
Good luck to you. We'll head back now to the commentary area. Back in our commentary position for the DRS125 pre-final. Good to speak to some of the drivers before they headed away. And they, of course, setting a brisk pace on their first lap out of the pits. Or out away from the dummy grid, we should say. Almost at racing speed coming down the start-finish straight there, going into turn one, and they will now, you would imagine, begin to gather up. Yeah, just beginning to slow up there is Sam Faulkner. Worth mentioning, by the way, that Cole Watts had an issue after the race was finished, so he goes to the back of the grid for this one. Looks like we're going to be away first time here. And here we go. Faulkner leading them down to turn one. It's a decent start around the outside from Henry Foote that time, and then running wide on the DRS plate was Rowan Campbell-Pilling. And that allows the... Actually, no, excuse me. Running wide, actually, was Freddie Cox, it appeared, as Campbell-Pilling has actually gotten up to second place. And through turn four they go. Already approaching the end of the first lap. Looked like someone towards the back of the field there was... missing a number plate. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. Anyway, Faulkner leads, Campbell-Pilling, Cox, Foote, Weir. That's our top five for now. And Cox already a second back, as just behind him there, Foote took a lot of that curb at the exit of two. Through turn four they go. The initial wide line there from Sam Faulkner, but Campbell-Pilling, you think here he's right where he wants to be. Off of two, there's first and second together, third and fourth together. Then Tom Snape in fifth. Has a little bit of a lead now over Daniel Weir in sixth. Through they go to complete another lap. 7 minutes to go. We really actually do want to mention, as we look down at seventh place, Ethan Critchley, as there goes a warning. Tommy Welsh, number 8. But we did really want to mention Ethan Critchley, who's got a wide through turn four, and that's the 336 and the 332. That's Cox and Foote side by side through turn four. You don't really see that happen too much. but it looks like Foot has taken the place going through turn 4, and Cox tried to hold on around the outside. I was halfway expecting him to go off there. As here we see it, it's been set up. Oh, and Cox got well out of shape under braking for turn 3, somehow held on to it, and then Foot was slow through the apex. Cox got back around the outside and then tried to hold it through 4. That's real good racing there. Both of them in a spot of bother there at one point or other, but they somehow both keep it pointing the right way. And Foot takes the position. Campbell Pilling now 4/10 behind Faulkner. He's not quite in striking distance, but he's there and still in a position to ask a question maybe in the last couple of laps. Now Snape is closing in on Freddie Cox, and then you've got Weir, Critchley, Walmsley, Jones all in a pack. Oscar Owen back in 9th. He'll want to be moving before the end. Of course, our defending champion in the DRS125s. Here comes a move almost down the front straight there, and that was Snape trying to look for a way around Cox. And then, well, not quite a free wide, and then the door shut, and I think maybe contact there. 329. That was Weir trying to make the move on Snape, and he loses the position in the end to Critchley. And Critchley, we want to mention, of course, as a family member looking to swim the channel later this year. An incredible feat, all for an amazing cause for in relation to dementia and so many causes surrounding former rugby players. The relative in question, I believe, is father, a former rugby player. Faulkner just pulling out an extra 10.5. Lead up to 5.5 tenths over Rowan Campbell Pilling. Foot dropping off 2 seconds behind. And it looks like Freddie Cox is closing back up on every Foot as we have rain beginning to fall here at Hooton Park. And it actually, we're just looking out the window, it's not evident on the screens, but out of the window it's falling heavy on the far side of the circuit around about the final corner. And they're going to have to slow right down now. 332 Cox under pressure. And a spinner, 2 spinners. But who was the spinner further up front? Was it... I think there's going to be a red flag. You would imagine there's going to be a red flag. There's been a big accident up in turn 4. 2 carts off. Surely we're going to get a red flag. There's the 336 around. So Campbell Pilling was. We were thinking that going through the S's, it was one of the top 2 that had spun out, and it was indeed Rowan Campbell Pilling. So Faulkner leads now. Critchley is up to 2nd, although the gap is 4 seconds. And they're slowing right down now. You wonder if this race may actually get declared. And still just seeing the slippery surface flags out there. No sign of any stoppage. As there we look back to an earlier moment, and this is going to be a move from the 336. That's Henry Foot getting around Freddie Cox. That was the incident that we were talking about earlier, where Cox tried to hang it out around the outside of turn 4 after almost losing it on the entry to turn 3. And now there's been a problem out there now for Critchley, who's back down to 6th. And Faulkner is... and the race is being stopped. We're seeing that the race is coming up for us as being finished. Yes, the race is over. So they've waved the checkered flag early. And so Faulkner has won the race. And Freddie Cox has finished 2nd. So Critchley was 2nd. And then tumbles down to 6th place, which would have been right before the lap in which the race was declared over. Tom Snake finishes in 3rd place. Oliver Owen ends up moving up from 9th place to 4th in the end. Rowan Campbell-Pilling, after we believe he was the one that spun out in the S's, comes across the line in 5th. Ethan Critchley in 6th. So Sam Faulkner, amid that pressure situation of the rain falling heavily on the track and the slick tyres on the karts, but he was not wrong-footed, one of the few that were not wrong-footed. We're trying to see. So in turn 4, whoever went off, and they looked like two pretty big offs, one went off further down turn 4. We're trying to see who the white-helmeted driver is just on the first apex of turn 4. Because whoever that is, they went in big, backwards, deep into the tyres, and good to see that they're out and okay. But the results, Sam Faulkner, the winner, whoever it was that went off in turn 4, looks like they were one of our seeded drivers, so one of our drivers. I'm just trying to see who's gone down the order. It might well be Tommy Welsh in number 8. Just trying to get a in real time. It was indeed number 8, yes. So it was Tommy Welsh that went in there pretty big, and now making his way back towards the pits and garage areas. So let's recap the results. Sam Faulkner, the winner of this rain-shortened race. Freddie Cox 2nd. Tom Snake 3rd. Oliver Owen getting up to 4th in the end. Rowan Campbell-Pilling falling back to 5th after we believe he spun in the S's. Ethan Critchley 6th, having 1 point being 2nd right before the race was flagged. Henry Foote ending up in 7th, was much further up. Oscar Walmsley-Jones in 8th, Daniel Weir in 9th, and Firas Bilbazi, having failed to finish, engine seizing in the heat, gets a top 10 finish, gets himself into a better position ahead of the grand final. So we now will head on to the DRS 100 pre-final in just a few moments. The 125s will be back out at 2:55 for their grand final. Right back on it with our DRS 125 grand final. Sam Faulkner has been right on it throughout, and he's looking to make it a clean sweep. There's a clean sweep seem to be pretty common here at Hooton Park in the Daniel Ricciardo Series. We'll see if Faulkner can make another one happen here. He'll have stern opposition, I'm sure, from Rowan Campbell-Pilling, with Henry Foote and Freddie Cox in the second row. Freddie Cox found himself everywhere in that pre-final, where, of course, we had the rain interrupting proceedings. It looks like we're ready for a start here. They're just going to be told to cool things down. They look a little fast at the moment, but now they appear to have gotten it down to a good speed. And we spoke earlier to Rowan Campbell-Pilling about being on the outside and having that be such a disadvantage. That may be the biggest obstacle to him challenging Faulkner here. Here we go into the first corner. And, there's a bit of contact there for third, but Campbell-Pilling does managed to work his way around the outside and hold on to second as there being full start. So the race that will be big disappointment actually for Campbell Pilling, because the reason why, this is all part of the gamesmanship. Campbell Pilling actually crossed the start-finish line first. We noticed that on our system. We were wondering if maybe because Faulkner had the line for turn 1, maybe they'd let it go, but nope. You've got to be absolute about these things, and we go again for a start. And that's just all about Campbell Pilling trying to time things so that he doesn't get swallowed up by the inside row. They go again now. Faulkner looking to lead down, and getting all out of shape there was Campbell Pilling, and he has lost the position as Faulkner leads it into turn 1, and it looks as if, I'm trying to see, it was a 3-3, but I couldn't see if it was Foot or Cox that got into second there. You suspect it was Foot. 3-4, it was 3-3-6, so it was Henry Foot, and it's Rowan Campbell Pilling in third place for the moment. Sliding around a lot. Dark clouds hovering over the circuit once again, but not going to interrupt things as it stands, as Campbell Pilling makes the move very quickly on foot and looking to get through. Would have been a contact, it appeared there, for third place. Either that or getting out of shape was Foot, as now making the pass is Freddie Cox, but holding on around the outside of turn 3 is Foot, and he's going to keep the position into turn 4, and that'll allow the top 2 to pull away. So it's Faulkner, Campbell Pilling, Foot, and Cox in 4. Was that a collision for 5th? It looked like Freddie Cox, Tom Snape, I think, in 5th might have been hit there. An ambitious move going into the final corner there, and I think it was Oscar Owen that might have been on the inside of Tom Snape there, and it was hard to tell. We couldn't quite see. We just called it. And off 3-3-6. That's Foot forced out to the outside, and Cox able to make the move for third. An aggressive move as Oliver Owen is given the penalty, so he is adjudged to have made a move that was never really on. As we look back at the second incident with Cox, and I think Cox there there was no contact in that. It looked like he just took the racing line, and Foot, in his efforts to try and hold on, just running out wide, didn't really have anywhere to go. How do you judge that if you're in race control? There's no contact, and you have the right to hold the racing line, but do you also have to give the space? That's an age-long debate in racing. No warnings as of yet on our screen, as Faulkner and Campbell Pilling still on it. Still looking to pull away from the pack. Well, they have pulled away from the pack. Freddie Cox now 1.2 seconds off of Rowan Campbell Pilling. And it's Ethan Critchley who is now looking to challenge for the final step on the podium. Looked like a bit of a slide there for 3-3-3. That's Oscar Walmsley Jones, it appears, in 7th place, with Huckler and Tommy Welsh, who was in the barriers big time in that rain shower earlier on. Sure, the 125 drivers are sick of the sight of those big grey clouds. As you just see out of the corner of our eye, there was someone running over, one of the marshals running over to a particular part of the track that didn't want there to be any kind of incident out there, out by the S's. As we're in a bit of a holding pattern for the moment in terms of the battles for first and third respectively. If anything, Fred Cox actually pulled away now from Ethan Critchley. So Faulkner for the moment looking good for that Grand Slam that we were talking about. Battle for 7th still on. Walmsley Jones continuing to lead it. Huckler just dropped back a little bit And it's Tommy Welsh who's actually closest of anybody on the circuit, it appears, to making the move. But it looks like Tom Snape is he was right on the back of the number 9 of Fordry earlier on. There is a penalty for Oscar Walmsley-Jones. We haven't seen why that is. Don't believe he was involved in any kind of collision. If he was, then certainly not spotted on the cameras. Looks like the battle, if anything, is on for 4th place, as Critchley is now falling back into the grasp of Daniel Weir and Henry Foote, who of course was off the circuit earlier at the exit of turn 3. Campbell Pilling gaining a 10th there on Faulkner in the battle for the lead, but Sam Faulkner holding firm for the moment. Through turn 4 they go. And the fight is well and truly on for 4th place. Oliver Owen with a penalty. I believe that's his second of this race. He involved in that collision with Tom Snape in the final corner a few moments ago. Campbell Pilling once again has taken another 10th, almost a 10th, out of Sam Faulkner, and it's now just a quarter of a second between that duo. Freddie Cox still a second back. He's matching the leader pace. Actually just set the fastest lap there as Freddie Cox, so not just matching the leader pace, actually slightly quicker. Into turn 3 they go in the fight for 4th. Weir is on the cusp of a move. And even though Critchley isn't looking back, he's certainly aware that Weir is there and driving good, disciplined defensive line. He's not defending fresh air or anything. Oh, here's a chance for a pass into turn 1. Nope. Not to be there for Dan Weir. But now could be a move. Behind us, Foote trying to go through and clouting the curb. And getting away with it, but it's cost him time on the exit. Campbell Pilling, meanwhile, has brought the gap back to less than 3/10. Just under 5 minutes to go as Faulkner crosses the line. Gap now up to half a second. Big lap for Faulkner there. Clouds still threatening, but no sign of rain of yet. And it looks like that rather ambitious move from Henry Foote has rather broken off the battle for 4th place at the moment. Freddie Cox is sitting very comfortably in 3rd and actually closing in slightly now on Rowan Campbell Pilling. As there they go in your shot across the line. Look how they slide the left rear out going into the corner. Particularly noticeable in these 125s. Tommy Welsh is now up to 8th place. That's a great way for him to rebound from that big incident in the wet earlier on. As we see a fight now, we're looking at Tom Snape trying to come back through the field, having been hit in the final corner earlier on. This is a battle for 11th place. Jake Woodrow ahead of Snape in the 3-2-8. Faulkner's gap now 7/10, and it's actually Cox who, by 0.003 of a second, is slightly closer to Campbell Pilling than Campbell Pilling is to Faulkner. As here comes that move from Snape, comfortably through on the inside into turn 3. And his next target, albeit 4.5 seconds up the road, is Oscar Owen. The pass being made in turn 1, an aggressive move there, and that's Owen actually moving ahead of Peter Hugler into 9th place. An aggressive move, but a very good one. And Cox now is within half a second of Campbell Pilling in the battle for second. You're just looking out the window there at Tom Snake number 3. How far, basically the entire back of the cart coming off the ground, but still able to get the traction through the corner. Foot has closed back in on Daniel. We're now in the fight for 5th place. Their gap under 0.2 of a second. And this is, I think Foot is ahead. Yes, Foot is ahead now of Daniel Weir, as going wide is Daniel Weir now in 6th place, just bouncing over the curb on the exit of turn 1. Giving it everything, really sliding out the back of that cart. And if anything now, as we look, with just 80 seconds left plus a lap or 2 added on, however much they do add on, the battle is going to be for 2nd place, and Freddie Cox is less than a tenth behind now. Trying to see, it looks like they go up towards turn 3. Looks like Campbell Pilling is looking back. There they are on the screen now. The DRS in front. I wonder if Campbell Pilling has maybe just used a bit too much of the tyre here. You only get 1 set of tyres for the day here. And it's, oh, what an incident, and off. Rowan Campbell Pilling. Straight back on again, a light contact with the tyres. And where will he come back? Well, here we go, through the S's. And not too well. It just looks as if Cox simply ran. Well, if you see how wide Cox ran, that's pretty clear cut. Cox simply overshot the corner. Clear as day. And that's a shame there for Freddie Cox, because in a very good 3rd place and looking potentially on for better, you suspect that's a penalty coming his way and a podium potentially lost. On the track, as it stands, a good battle for 3rd now, as we're on the final lap, and it's Critchley looking to hold on against Foot and Weir, and Foot to the outside on the exit of turn 3. It's not the line you want for 4, but will it switch back? They're side by side coming out of the corner now. Critchley just about holding on. Taking the wide line is Foot as Faulkner wins. Cox will come across 2nd provisionally, but who's going to be 3rd? It's going to be Critchley. And Foot just holds off Weir for 4th place by 95 hundredths of a second. Campbell Pilling in the end, recovering to the track in 6th place. And then followed by Oscar Walmsley-Jones. He had a penalty, so that might change. Tommy Welsh up to 8th. And Oliver Owen in 9th. Hugler 10th. And Tom Snape, in the end, 11th. Couldn't make any further progress, having gotten by Jake Woodrow for that 11th place. He was 5 seconds behind his bitter rival Oliver Owen after their collision earlier on in the race. So provisionally, this surely is provisionally, Sam Faulkner wins. His win should stand, barring anything technical, but the provisional is going to be Freddie Cox's 2nd place. Ethan Critchley will be hoping potentially to be promoted up to second, depending on whether or not that incident between Cox and Campbell Pilling is investigated. Henry Foote fourth on the road, may well end up on the podium overall, and then it's Daniel Weir finishing fifth, Campbell Pilling coming onto the track in sixth, Oscar Walmsley-Jones seventh, Tommy Welsh eighth, Oliver Owen ninth, Peter Huckler 10th, and I'm sure if recent standards are anything to go by, we're going to be back with you in the most split of split seconds as the rain falls again ahead of the DRS 100 grand final. Throw rain into that mix, that's going to be tasty. Welcome to our podium ceremony here for round 4 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series here at Hooton Park. What a fantastic day's racing it has been across all 3 of the categories. It's time now to give out the trophies to those that were fortunate enough to place on the top 3 of the respective races. So, starting with the DRS62s, and we will start with our academy drivers first of all, and we will first call over the 3rd place finisher, Neo Loiseau. Verb. And our 2nd place academy finisher in the DRS62s is Jakob Schulz. And to our academy winner for the DRS62's grand final, who came through from the back of the field after a problem in the pre-final, was Carter Inskip Clarkson. And we're just starting to feel some raindrops here at Hooton Park, and I'm sure the drivers will be happy for it to rain on their parade now as we begin to announce the DRS62 overall winners. And in 3rd place, Ashton Redpath. Our 2nd place finisher, Harley Drake. And in what was such a close battle all day for the top spot in DRS62, the overall honours, 1st place, Oscar Roach.
Oh, right, okay, so then do 1, 2.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He came last.
Yeah, he came last.
I wonder where it comes from. How many you want to see? Two ones I've done. I've done 2.
Next up, our 125s where our rookie winner was Thomas Dackins.
Well done, Invisible
Some confusion over the classifications of novices for the meeting, I believe, may have caused the absence there of Thomas Dackins for this ceremony. So we will move on now to the overall honours for the 125s. Reliably informed that for third place, it was the first senior race for in the 125s, and he gets up into third place after the race. Henry Foote. And here to promote a good cause, a great cause, as well as to race, was our second place finisher, Ethan Critchley. And our overall winner in the DRS125 is a clean sweep for Sam Faulkner.
Can you announce Dackins again, because he's here?
Okay. And arriving now to our podium ceremony to take his honours for best rookie finisher is Thomas Dackins. And now on a thrilling day, the most thrilling of thrills produced by the DRS 100s. We will first introduce our rookie winner, Jakub Milczarski. And now to our overall top three finishers. In third place, Sherry-Ann Powell. In second place, Connor Scarisbrick. And snatching victory at the last gasp was our winner, Charlie Ratford. And so that wraps things up for the Daniel Ricciardo Series round 4 here at Hooton Park. An absolutely fantastic meeting and action from the very beginning of the DRS 62 heat all the way through to the end of the day with that last lap pass for the 100 honours. That's it from here. We'll see you next time.